All right, guys, welcome to the final tribal council. Nick J, Billy, and Hemi. Now the power shifts to the jury. 9 people you had a hand in voting out will be deciding your fate tonight and be crowning a winner of Survivor Conquest Season 7 Limited Life. I already told you guys what the order is going to be. So, Billy, you are up first. You have 5 minutes for your opening statement, and your time starts right now. Go ahead.
All right. So hello everyone. First off, this game was fucking wild. I had so much fun playing with all of you, even if it was for one vote or whatever. I loved it. Whatever happens, happens. But I'm here to tell you why I should win. So, throughout this game, I managed to crawl my way out through many votes, make it to the end, and even work with people who at one point voted against me or didn't include me in plans of their own at once. For example, I had to play low at the final 11 after Fisher was voted out. So I needed to find someone on the Rama tribe or the group chat of 7 who was going to be willing to flip on their own. That person ended up being my lovely Brady. You were my angel that vote. Thank you so much. So with that, I was able to flip Brady and Hemi to vote out. Originally, it's supposed to be Sean, but it ended up being Oscar that vote. Now, unfortunately, though, as the game went on, I realized that me and Brady were playing very similar games. So he had to go, unfortunately. Um, Next, Luke and Davis. I absolutely love you guys. I enjoyed every second with you guys in this game, working with you. But the both of you, for at least one or two votes, I was not doing what you wanted to do with some votes, but I always knew what you were doing. But at the end of the day, if the both of you made final tribal council, you would have had a slight little advantage over me than I would have had if I was sitting next to the both of you. So I also knew you both eventually had to go. Now, before merge, even though my tribe Buto did not go to tribal council many times compared to the other tribe, I was still playing the game. I was pretty much a lot of people's number ones. I knew I was Luke's number one, I was Davis's number one, and I was also Fisher's number one, and probably Sean's number one as well at one point in the pre-merge phase. Unfortunately, though, I can't really say anything else about the pre-merge. Thankfully. Um, I also like to point out, though, in the merge, I did not need a single immunity idol to help survive in this game. When I received votes, I made sure to get my allies together to ensure my safety that I could keep going forward. Like I said, after Fisher went, I pulled in Brady and Hemi to make sure I had enough votes to keep going. I still had good, and even though when I wasn't on the same votes as people, like after Andrew and Rachel were voted out, I still had good allies to keep know I was going to be safe going forward. For example, when I knew I was on the bottle, I made sure it would go and happen. So at the final 6, another big move of mine was to make a 3-way split tie on 2 on Nick J, 2 on Will, and 2 on myself. I was willing to put my game on the line to make sure either Nick J went home or possible of a Will going home. Now, we knew Nick J had a possibility of an idol. So if Nick J didn't play an idol, he was going to go. But if he did not play an idol, I knew I was safe because I knew Luke and Davis were not going to play to flip on me at the final 6, which basically means I was guaranteed final 5 from the final 6. Now, in conclusion, I made moves when I needed to. I ended up winning 3 immunities, which I've never done before. And when there was a possibility, especially of me receiving votes, it made it all the way to the end where I now get to prove to you why I should be the winner of the season. I look forward to any of your questions and talking more about my game.
All right, thank you, Billy. Moving on to Hemi, you have 5 minutes for your opening statement.
All right, hello everyone. Yeah, this was a very fun game, and thank you for playing it. Now, I'll give you why I should win. To start this off, I want to talk about the pre-game round. I wanted to give myself a good base to work with, no matter who was on my tribe. So I made chat with every single person, everyone. I got to know who most people were, where they're from, their interests, among many other things. Now on to the actual game. if I had to describe my game in 2 words, it would be risk taker. The first risk I took was by buying the tarp in pre-merge, using my only fire token that I had the whole game. That got me the extortion advantage. I used that on Fisher to help my tribe and gain some favor. I told 2 people I had that before I used it. Ymir and Rachel, knowing they were well guarded in the community, and that I would have a good footing with them moving forward. Unfortunately, I had to cut Ymir because he was getting way too chaotic, and most chaotic can only be given to me. And yeah, after I used it, I told everyone, giving me better footing. Yeah, bro, this is stressful. Next risk was the last round in the pre-merge. Knowing that people were scared that their names would be thrown out in a Carvin vote, I just made that decision. Tell Carvin my name. I'm getting the votes. Good thing. I knew I wasn't going home because I knew Carvin didn't have an idol, and Carvin went home. And next risk we'll get to later. The final and the most impressive risk of the game. But to summarize the pre-merge, I made connections, took calculated risks, and gave myself good footing for the merge. To begin the merge, down in numbers did not look good at the start. But then I saw a crack. That crack was Oscar. He had told me he wanted to flip on the Puto Puto. So I reassured myself the whole time. I even got on a 2-hour call with him, which I loved, and I got to know him a lot. Knowing now that he was an umper for our side, and it was at least 6-6. And after that, I realized he had Sean with him in his back pocket, and yeah, we have the numbers. After that, I became kind of a flipper. I saw the power that Oscar had, and even though even though we had this great connection, I knew I had to get rid of him at that moment. So myself, along with Brady, flipped to the other side. We originally wanted Sean out because he was just a number for Oscar, didn't want him immediately out, but he gave his immunity to Sean, and he got out. The next vote,
30
just
seconds.
a simple Sean vote.
30
How,
seconds.
what?
30 seconds.
Bro, goddamn. Okay, then I went into calm mode, and yeah. Then on to the final 6. I won immunity that round. Knowing that I had to make a big move, I gave the immunity
10
to
seconds.
Davis. Knowing that Nick had the idol, so 2 people I wanted to keep stayed there. Then I went to a rock draw, just showing good character, and yeah, I don't think I have more time. Give me questions, please. Thank you.
All right, moving on to Nick J. Your 5 minutes starts now.
All right, hey everyone. To say this game has been a roller coaster would be an understatement because this game has been the whole freaking theme park. I don't want to make my opening speech too long. I don't want to go vote by vote because I hope you guys have questions about specific things like that. So I just want to highlight some overviews and some things that were strengths of my game. So starting off, I want to touch on fire tokens. So throughout the whole game, I possessed a total of 13 fire tokens. And at one point I had 12 fire tokens, which was 2/3 of all the tokens in the game. My possession of the tokens, I believe, was a testament to my social game, which Survivor is at its core. 5 of the tokens that I received were given to me either due to people that were voted out or when people were still in the game. 3 of them were found and 4 were stolen with my knowledge's power advantage. And in order to properly use a knowledge's power advantage, I needed the social ties to understand where those tokens were at. And then I had the one I started with. So of all the tokens I had, they were mainly used on, they were all used on idols. 12 of them were used to buy 2, and the other one was used to extend my idol. Speaking of tokens, I want to highlight the use of my knowledge's power advantage. Up to that point, me and Rachel had been very close. She was probably my closest ally throughout the game up to that point. And I knew she was in such a good social position just due to how close we were. I knew she had an idol. I mean, I knew she had at least 4 tokens. So I knew at that point in the game, sides were tricky. Sides were like breaking up, and I knew people from all sides were like trusting her. So I wanted to steal her tokens because that not only ensured myself another idol, but it also flushed her idol. That so I could eventually take a shot at her. At 7, this allowed me to throw Rachel's name out there while simultaneously keeping Davis in. At 7 and 6, I knew Davis was in trouble, and I knew I needed him as a shield. So at 7, I scrambled to get votes onto Rachel. When at 6, I convinced Hemi to give immunity to Davis. I did that by telling Hemi about my idol so he would feel enticed to give his immunity to Davis. At last minute, Hemi also almost didn't want to give up immunity to Davis, but I had to retalk him into that. Next, I want to talk about my social game. So throughout the past 2 weeks that this game has been going on, I spent countless time calling people to try and make genuine connections. My priority wasn't trying to make people trust me on a game level. It was trying to make people feel like I was a real person and look at me like beyond the game. So those connections are a big reason why I got people's tokens when they were voted out. I mean, a perfect example of that is Carvin. So during the final vote on the Rarama tribe, everyone else was on our tribe was on a call in a alliance chat that we had. While they were doing that, it was a chat I was in. I was on call with Carvin, talking to him about the vote, and I did that just to make him trust me more and make him feel like I was with him. I knew that Will would be throwing a vote on Hemi that vote, and I wanted to make it seem like that was coming from me. And because I believe a big reason why Carvin gave me his tokens was because I sat on call with him. He trusted me more, and that was a big reason why I got his tokens. At the time, I didn't know he had 3 tokens, but I was trying to get the 1 token that I believed he had at the time, and it worked out like very well in my favor because he ended up having 3 tokens. So I also want to talk about the Amir vote because that was something that was crazy. The beginning of the game, I kind of was like kicked into like having to play right away. And it was the social connections I made before the first vote on our tribe that kind of allowed me to not go that vote and to maneuver myself to realign after the first vote where I almost went home. Yeah. That's really all I have highlights of my game. If there's anything you guys specifically want to ask me, feel free to do so. I'm very excited to hear your guys' questions and what you guys have to say. So yeah, that's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Nick J. So in terms of jury speeches, we're gonna go from juror number 1 to juror number 9. So Fisher, you're up first.
All right. Wait, how much time do I get?
You don't have a time limit. You can go.
Okay, I won't make it too long. Don't worry. All right, I'll start with Hemi. Hemi, you gotta de-stress a little bit. All right, I'm gonna tell you that. All right, you're very stressed. All right, you gotta de-stress a bit because you're kind of like just. I want to know more about your game. All right. Um, I want to know. So, I feel like a lot of the jury doesn't really know what you did in turns because I think you're more in the shadows. Can you try to pinpoint situations where you were in the power position, but like that we couldn't see?
Okay, so there were actually a few votes where I was the main vote. I could have gone both sides. Either of the person who I had vote how I voted out could have gone out, and those were the Oscar votes. I could have easily switched my vote on Billy, to make it 5 for him and 4 for Oscar, but I ultimately got out Oscar. Then onto the Rachel votes. It was a 4-3 vote. I easily just could have gone on Davis, but I didn't. So Rachel got out. And in the final 6 round, the thing I do
I do have a
see.
question about the final 6, if you're gonna go into it, by the way. Was it your intention to like make yourself go into rocks? Because like I'm genuinely curious.
So
Because like I feel like I didn't really understand what you were doing there. Because I get you're trying to
yeah,
save Davis, but wouldn't you have had the votes to save Davis if Nick J's telling the truth?
I don't fully understand your question. Sorry, can you explain more?
I'm trying to figure what was your like thinking going to like giving immunity to Davis? Because like from a standpoint, I think Rachel can support that. Rachel went off on that. Rachel went crazy about it. But like, what was your thinking about giving Davis? Like, why? Because I feel like that really just like made it feel like people viewed you as just like Davis's goat in some terms.
Mm, yeah. So at that point, I believed Davis wasn't, the big threat everyone saw him as. I I I don't know what his move was during the game, so I kept him, knowing that I had still 2 rounds of getting him out, which I ultimately did in final 5, because I did not want him out at final 6. And yeah, onto the rocks. Yeah, knowing that Nick had the idol, I knew it was going to be 2-2. Both of the original 2-2 votes stayed. So I knew Davis wasn't gonna change his opinion. So, and I wasn't gonna change mine. At that point I didn't care that I was going into rocks. I had that 50-50 chance, and yeah, I took risks. The
Okay.
risks were my main part, I wanted to play a risky game.
Okay. All right. I think that's all I got for you, Hemi, by the way. But would love to
Thank
hear
you.
from more. You just calm down, but all right. All right. I'm saving you I'm saving you for the last, Nick J. All right. Billy, you're up next. All right. All right, so Billy, you were mentioning, I don't know if you really mentioned in your speech, but I think because you said you were really close with like Luke and Davis, am I right?
Yeah.
And you said so you did some moves that were apart from them, and I do think Luke and Davis were somewhat of a driving force, and I think that can be really shown throughout this jury here. Can I know what those moves are?
That I made against
Yeah, that were apart from
without
them.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talking about the final 6, that was my idea. I was comfortable because I knew it was a good guess that it was pretty obvious that Nick J and Hemi were going to vote for me. So that was 2 guaranteed votes on myself. Now, all I knew is that, okay, Nick J, he's done some things. He's still been thinking I'm going after him. Let me with Luke convince Will to vote Nick J. When in reality, me and Will were the only people got to be voting for Nick J. Now, I knew that in this thing, and once I heard that Hemi was going to give immunity to Davis, I knew that if we did go to rocks, that it was either Luke or Hemi going home. Either or, it was a good thing for me. More Luke, not as much Hemi. I kind of really wanted to take Hemi to the end. So 50-50 shot between Luke and Hemi were going home. Luckily, Luke went home, and that was fine by me. I was pretty much at that point guaranteed final 4. Now, other moves that I would say were my own was the final 11 vote. Davis didn't go talk to Brady. Luke didn't go talk to Brady. I got on a call with Brady. Brady brought me to the attention because like I said, I knew I was on the bottom. I was in no space to throw a name out at the final 11 to try and save myself. Because if I knew that didn't happen, I could have been going home next. And obviously, I was one vote away. So Brady came to me. He said, I'm willing to vote out a Rama person, but I'm not willing to do it at the final 11. I'm going to be willing to do it though at the final 10. I said, okay, who would you be willing to do it on? And he said, Luke and Sean. And I immediately pushed Luke off the table because Luke was a better ally for me at the point, and I pushed it on to Sean. So that was another move that I did without Luke or Davis. Did it benefit Luke and Davis as well? Yes, because those were also my closest allies. So I would say those are two of my biggest moves without them. And also the Brady vote as well, and getting Brady voted out because it didn't benefit Luke or Davis.
Oh, there goes his Wi-Fi.
I could come to the final 3 and separate my game. Oh, I think I'm lagging.
You're good now.
I think I was lagging there. Wasn't lagging there.
No, we got it. I think.
Okay.
Oh, this is not a good time to be freezing.
I know. I think I'm good. I think I'm good now.
Okay.
But yeah.
I can't think of any more questions. I'm sure you'll get way more. I think those are some pretty good answers, I'll say. But all right. Finally, moving on to Nick J. All right. How ironic this is. How the
It's funny.
turntables
Have turned.
You know, in quote. Actually, no. I'll say that for a second. Okay. So Nick J, I definitely think you played hell of a game, all right, this season. I'll admit it, all right? Okay. But I think a huge problem you're going to be facing tonight is you were only on, and I'm not going to count the final 4, and this is a huge contribution to whether I feel like I can vote for you or not. Because the thing is, you were only unimmune for 2 votes.
Mhm.
Though, in quote, you did survive a vote. Which, okay, wait. Sorry, I'm confusing myself a little bit by that. But can you try to? I'm trying to figure out a question. The phrase is sorry, Jay. Was it your intention to have to play that much of a physical game? Because did you like fully intend that you were gonna have to do that? Because I think once you did the thing to Rachel, you fully had to play a physical game, and I think that's kind of what strikes your game down a little bit for me. And it's the same problem you had with me in season 2.
Yeah. I think the thing is like first I wasn't so I had 4 idols this season. 2 of them were found, 2 of them I bought. Those tokens that I got, 4 of them I got due to like searching for things or I had on my own. One of them I had on my own. But all the other tokens that I got, 3 of them were given to me by Carvin, 1 was given to me by Raul, 1 was given to me by Sean, and 4 of them I stole from Rachel because like me and her were close, so I knew she had those tokens. So I think it wasn't those idols. I don't think were earned physically. I think they were more or earned due to my like social knowledge and my social connections that I had with people that were going out of the game. So yeah, and also touching on like the fact only one of those idols, like had I not played it, I would have gone home on. So I do think that spoke to the fact that like obviously it wasn't like the sole reason that I wasn't getting votes wasn't because like my social connections. I know it had to do with my idols. But I was like kind of using the fact that like I made myself a big threat, and I was using the fact that I could use other like talk to other big threats, and that would kind of create alliance and social connections with me. So I knew like making that big threat status kind of like gave me a leeway into like closer social connections with other people like Davis, at one point Will, and I also knew like Luke too. Like it was like I knew that that kind of gave me a way for that. I don't know if that answers your question though.
I think so. It was kind of an ask question. I'm gonna be honest. I'm sorry.
No, I get the question. I expected you to ask that something like that. I expected it.
I'll leave. I'll leave more questions for everyone. I think that'll be it for me.
Thank you.
All right.
All
Good
right.
luck, y'all.
Thanks, Fisher. Oscar and Sean are not here, but they pre-voted, so that takes us to juror number 4. Andrew, you're up next.
So I'm not mad that I'm on the jury at this point. It's just how it happened at the final nine of how I ended up being here because of me almost blowing everything. That's what still irks me. So I'm gonna start with Nick. And I'm gonna be honest here. Nick was the only person who seemed to actually like give a genuine chance about me during the merge. Because I've heard my name out plenty of times, and he always gave me the warning if my name was out, especially at the final nine because of Luke. So, besides that, he actually gave me a good chance, and I want to actually commend him for that, for not going against my back and voting him and Hemi were both voting Luke with me at the final nine to try and not completely screw me over. Otherwise, Nick, the one thing that also confuses me is I want you to go more in depth of why you decided to throw my name as like a throwaway vote at the. I'm pretty sure it was the Oscar vote or the Sean vote.
Okay.
Why did you just throw my name as a trash vote?
I'm actually really glad you asked me that question. So in the early like merge, a big thing of mine is obviously I knew the whole like tribe versus tribe thing was going on in the early merge, and I knew just because I was on Rama, I was going to be like tied to that. I knew when I voted Fisher, I was going to be tied to that. But if I had voted Billy there, or if I had voted Oscar there, it would have really like ostracized me with one side, and I didn't want to like be pushed in either direction. Especially if I voted Oscar there. Had I voted Oscar there, I mean, I think that was a big reason why Will lost trust with Brady, was because Brady voted for Oscar, and I didn't want to like lose that much trust with Will there. I also knew it would have looked really bad because me and Davis had been like trying to tell me the vote, or like he told me that he was voting for Oscar the vote before and Oscar that vote, and it would just be a really bad look on mine if I had lied to him 2 times in a row. So I knew I had to throw a vote on someone, and it was you. So by doing that, it just throwing a vote there was just an attempt to like keep myself. I knew I wasn't in the middle, and I'm not gonna like try and say I was, but it was an attempt to keep myself still at a way where more people trusted me instead of ostracizing myself and just voting like with one side, if that makes sense. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Thank you. And then to go along with a bunch of the other people, seems like ever since like the final like 7, or at least since the final 9, when you've gotten votes pretty much against yourself, when looking at it, the physical play, understanding of trying to go search for idols, trying to get them from people. Do you think that actually helped you out in the end, trying to save your butt, or do you think that may have just made some people bitter on the jury of how you decided to do that?
Are you talking about like the final nine vote specifically?
From final 9 onwards.
I mean, it for me, I knew it like those were gonna be my saving graces. I mean, I had at final 9, I had an open path to like at least the final 6 had I gotten these idols. And I'm like, I'm not for like I hate when people rely on immunities and are like searching for all these idols. But the thing was like the way I got these idols was through like my social connections and through strategic maneuvering. So I think that those idols were a big reason why I stayed, whether people were afraid to vote me, or whether they actually like nullified votes to keep me in the game. So yeah.
Thank you. I don't have any more questions, so thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
I'm gonna move on to Billy. I'm gonna ask you a few questions. So, Billy, as I said, I'm gonna go back to final 9. Did you know that my name was being thrown out there by Luke at the final 9 when everything went to crap at Tribal?
Yes.
Did you know my name? So why? He's like, as I said, like Nick was the only person who warned me that my name was out there. Like you didn't do it, Davis didn't do it, and Luke just wouldn't tell me because obviously what was happening. So why? Looking at, I'm trying to think of like, how do you view loyalty in this game? Because you talk to certain people, you're able to get them to flip, but then some people, you completely like almost hang them up to dry in some circumstances. How has that helped you? Like helping, but leaving others hang to dry.
Well, I don't think I let you hung out to dry, Andrew, because I voted how I told you I was going to vote. I voted Nick.
You voted Nick.
And I told you I was voting Nick. I didn't think I was going to have to warn you about you getting votes because I thought you were going to go vote Nick. So I was not disloyal.
But then, I understand, but then looking into it, ever since Tribal Council, I heard from someone that Nick was, and I totally understand why you're still going to vote for Nick, but I knew Nick had the idol, and I probably should have said something about that. But how do you view do you think you had good connections throughout this whole game from pre-merge, post-merge to the final? Do you think you had good enough connections to try and get you the votes? Do you think you had the good connections?
To earn me votes right now to win?
For tonight. Do you think you had enough? Do you think you did enough to try and get the votes with loyalty to certain people?
I think I did. I hope I did. I mean, even when I was not on voting the correct person to be voted out that night, like at the final 8 when it was between Rachel and Nick J, I still voted Nick J with Rachel. And we are close out of this game, but we haven't talked in like years before this. So by voting with Rachel, I believe that I gained a closer relationship with her there. And I didn't vote against her. I didn't lie to her, anything about that. I never did after that. And before that, it was all tribal lines. So yes, I did lie to her. Other than that, based off that, I gained close relationship with Will. I worked with Will many times after that together. Like I made sure that we were both working together on some votes from thereafter. So I believe I was pretty loyal to people. I was loyal to Luke. I was loyal to Davis. So I think my loyalty stood pretty high with some people. I mean, that's the game though. Like if you have a good ally, but you see that good ally is playing a better game than you, and you want to have a better shot at making it to the final 3 and winning, you got to vote him out. That's the game we all signed up to play. And I think I did that.
Fair. Thank you. That's all I have for you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Moving on to juror number 5, Brady, you're up next.
I still haven't talked to Hemi.
Oh, I thought you said you were done. Okay, go ahead.
Isaiah, that's really
I should have I was done talking to Billy. I just need to talk to Hemi. So, Hemi, I know we chatted like early bit pregame and a little bit during the merge. So I never really got a chance to completely know you very well, but trying to think of your game, what would you think was the one big, besides the final 6, which I heard a good amount of, what do you think was the one big move that you had to make to get yourself here, besides the final 6? Because I heard about
that I had to make.
Yes, besides final 6.
I believe the Oscar vote.
Is the Oscar vote?
At final 11. Where the vote was originally shown, but Oscar gave up his immunity. So I could have gone Oscar or Billy. I had the power there.
True.
And I ultimately went with Oscar, getting him out.
True. What? Now the bonus question, but why Oscar over Billy? I just like to know, personally.
To me, Oscar had more power and he was a way bigger threat, and he had more visible numbers, and
So most of it's like in some point in the game, like you had some bit of power throughout the game. Like you could control one vote either way possible. So it's like the final 11 and final 6 were big moves that you made.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that's enough to get you the votes.
And the final 7. And the final 7.
And the final 7 to try and get Rachel.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Emmy. Isaiah.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Now moving on to juror number 5, Brady, you're up next.
Hey guys, it's been a while. So, I'm a personal believer in the fact that in almost every Survivor Winners game, there comes a point where their life isn't in their hands and they have to trust the social connections and the alliances that they've made to pull them through to the next vote. So my question for all 3 of you tonight is, what is one point in this game where your life wasn't in your hands, and why do you think the people around picked to keep you instead of axe you? And let's go with Billy first.
Like I said before, I hate to keep going back to Final 11, Final 6, but that's genuinely when I put my game in the life of other people's hands. I put my game in the life of your hand. I had to trust you that at the final 11, we were gonna vote out Sean, but we couldn't, but we voted out Oscar. And I had to trust you that at the final 10, we were going to vote out someone for Rama Rama. At the final 6, I had to trust Luke and Davis to vote for Nick J. I had a trust in them that they were going to go with that plan. And luckily they did. And I had a trust in Will that he was honestly willing to go vote for Nick J, even though we both had a presumption that Nick J could have had an idol. And what was the second part of your question? I'm sorry.
Why do you think that they kept to like they picked to keep
Oh, yeah. Well, I know why you kept me, because you believe that you couldn't go to the final 3 with some of the people that were on your original tribe. Final 6, they had the choice between, I think we all just built, me, Luke, and Davis built a really solid connection with each other. And that connection went really deep. And so that they were willing to go to rocks for me. That says something. So why entirely they didn't want to vote me out, that's up to them. But I truly believe it's because of the connection that we all built.
Okay. The same question to Nick J.
Okay, so the question, just to make sure I'm getting it, the question is like, when was my like life on the line and I had to rely on other people, and why do I think they didn't like get rid of me? That's the question, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so first, there's like 2 points. I would say right in the beginning of the game, which I mean, it sucks that that's how it had to be for me. But in the very first vote on our original tribe, like I'm always going around like telling people to throw their votes on me, and people just didn't do that. And I think that had to do with social connections that I built early on in the game. And the vote after that, I think it was a similar situation where my life was on the line, and I also had to just rely on, again, social connections I made, but also the fact that like by kind of like painting Ymir in this negative light, that people would see him as a bigger threat than me. And then the another point that I want to point out is the final 5. When Davis went, my life was on the line there. But I knew I needed Davis at 5. That's why at 7 I did what I could to get votes on Rachel. I initially threw Rachel's name out to Hemi, and then kind of painted it that Hemi just threw it out so it wouldn't like raise my threat level. And then at 6, I wanted to make sure that Davis would get to 5. I know I had my idol there, so I knew I was going to be at 5. But I wanted to make sure Davis would also be at 5. So I was talking. Hemi initially called me, and he said he was thinking of giving immunity to me or Davis. And that's when I brought up. I was like, I think you should give it to Davis. And then Hemi almost last minute, he was like, wait, maybe we should vote Davis. And then I had to talk to him. I was like, I think this is a big move, blah blah. And I just like kind of like talked him into giving immunity to Davis because I wanted to make sure Davis was at 5. So I think Davis went at 5 over me because I made sure that like he was like I kind of wanted to paint him as a big threat, and I think I did what I could to like help Davis get to 5. But I also used the fact, kind of painted the narrative that him getting to 5 was like a more of a reason why he's a threat. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Emmy, it's your turn.
So the only tribal I think fits your criteria was the last pre-merge tribal where Carvin got voted out. In that alliance chat of 5, you were all scrambling for what name should we say to Carvin. I just said there, tell him my name. I trusted you to have the numbers on Carvin and yeah, not having the votes on me. And it was a 42, so yeah. Bro, language barrier, goddamn. Did I answer your question right?
Well, you didn't answer the second half of it. Why do you think we kept you over Carbon?
the reason I believe was because you thought I wouldn't flip. That's what I think.
Okay, thank you for that, everyone. You guys are really super slay, and I love all of you so much. So have fun. Also, before you answer questions, like take a deep breath and just relax yourself. Just like soak in the calm because you guys are gonna.
All right, thank you, Brady. Moving on to juror number 6. Rachel, you're up next.
I think that's me. Be cut out. But hey, guys. Okay, I don't know where to start, but I guess I just have like comments on all three of you. Starting off, I guess, with Nick. I mean, we were like a really strong duo since the beginning of the game when Amir tried to like second boot you, and I just would not let that happen. I feel like from then on, like I knew we had each other's backs for a while, and going to the merge, we set ourselves up pretty well. We had like trio chats with almost everybody and like chats with a bunch of people. The one thing that I will say, like, I think you played amazing, but I don't think that like you knew I had 4 tokens from like social ties. I think that was just kind of like I found public claimable tokens. I told everybody to get rid of you or Davis since the final 9, and people thought they could wait, and clearly they couldn't wait because you're sitting here, and I think that's very impressive. What they don't know too, we went to a Bruno Mars concert the day of the marooning, so maybe that's why your name was thrown out. I'm kidding. But moving on to Billy. Billy, I really loved working with you too, and I thought that a big highlight of your game was how adaptable you were. I felt like even though like I basically told you I voted you, you still were able to like reform like a bond with me where I actually did trust you, and I did feel like you weren't gonna like backstab me, which was true. And I do apologize because I feel like the fact that Hemi gave immunity to Davis made it really difficult for you in this game. I didn't really know what you could have done there, and I think that was kind of like a shitty position for you. So I'm sorry to you for that. And I think maybe if that didn't happen, you wouldn't have to sit at the end with Nick, which I know you did not want to do. Moving on to Hemi. Hemi, I really liked meeting you in this game. I thought you were like super fun. You were really fresh and like brought a cool vibe to the game. However, one of like my biggest thing, as Fisher said, just you can't give immunity to Davis Powell at Final 6. You just can't. I understand maybe you didn't think he was as big of a threat, but I still think that like the perception in the game was that he was, even if it wasn't your own personal perception, I think that that was just the overall perception of the game that maybe you weren't as aware of. Yes, you can comment on it.
Okay, so at that point of doing Davis, or of giving it to Davis, my thoughts were just, I don't care. Let's see how much chaos we can make. And yeah, that brought chaos.
I get it. I just think that the big move isn't always the correct move, but I understand why you tried to do something. And I think it was cool that you tried to do something. I just don't know if I agree with that specifically, but it's okay. And my question for all three of you though, just a fun little question, because like why not? Give me a song that represents your journey in this game and explain why. Whoever thinks of it first can go first, but try not to take too long.
Runaway by Kanye West.
Why?
Because I snaked a lot of people, and I just wait. Okay, let me.
You can take it back.
I did. Bro, Brady, why? Okay, I snaked a lot of people, and that was really on personal levels. It wasn't really the nicest thing I could have done, but it's what I had to do, and I'm not sorry for it because it's what I had to do. But I recognize that it was not good on a personal level.
Relating to the song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. And Billy or Nick, do you guys have one?
I have one.
Yeah, what is it?
It's literally called The Journey by her. It came out a few days before this game started, and it's literally about like the journey is hard. You have to adapt though to like new situations. Like hers was all about the song was out because of AAPI month, and so it was about the struggles that that community goes through. So even though I went through struggles through this game, about if I, for like one vote I wasn't on the right side, or if I knew the plan, I wasn't going to necessarily do it because it was going to help me in other situations where I adapted. It was a long fucking hard time to get this entire merge. Holy shit, never played a game harder than this probably. But I made it. And I'm happy with that.
Cool. And Nick?
This sounds like kind of cliche, but I want to explain like a specific lyric. I'm still standing by Ellen John, and I want to touch on the specific lyric. Did you think this fool could never win? Look at me, I'm coming back again. And I want to say that because I think at times I tried to play up like, especially in the early merge. I mean, now I don't think people view me as this at all. I hope not, at least. I tried to play up that I was like kind of like paranoid. And I mean, also there were moments where like it felt like in the beginning of the game, like I said, like I was targeted from the very beginning of this game, and I just think the more that I kind of got like pushed down, it kind of like I came back, and every time I came back stronger. Like the first time I came back, I got an alliance, I got a fire token, then going into the merge, I got more fire tokens, then I like kind of felt pushed back, I got an idol, then like I felt like at the final 9 vote, like it was like everyone was turning against me, but then I got these tokens to get more idols. So it kind of just felt like every time I fell, I came back and I came back stronger, and had more like ambition and kind of like resources within the game to go forward, whether that be allies, idols, tokens. Yeah. I hope that answers the question. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Thank you guys for entertaining my goofy question. And everybody else ask theirs now too. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. Moving on to juror number 7. Luke, you're up.
Okay, hi guys. So I think I'm kind of just gonna be similar to kind of what Rachel did. I think I'm just gonna comment a little bit on what on what I think about you guys, and I think maybe I'll just give you one question at the end. First of all, I just want to say to Hemi, like Hemi, you started really strong at this final tribal council, and I want you to keep going like that. Like there's a chance, and I just don't want you to like feel discouraged that like, oh, let me just give up. And like I think you're doing a really good job, so please keep doing a good job. Like I like that smile I like on your face. Like please don't be sad anymore. Like answer the questions, like get into it, like tell us. I mean, you made it to the end and we didn't, so like tell us why. So keep doing that, please. You have 2 jurors left. And then Billy, I also, obviously want to congratulate you, working together from day one. And I think also one thing that, I think you're doing well, and maybe something you could do a little better is like explain, like, I think, regardless of whether people said like the sides were done or not, I think in our heads, they weren't necessarily done ever. And I don't think everyone on the other side knows that relationship, and I don't think they know the thinking that our group had. So I want you to explain that and how that helped you get here, because I think that maybe is missing from a few people. And yeah, so talk about that, but also talk about how you're different, but which you're doing really well already. I think like even specifically, like I think there's some like miscommunication even with like the Davis the Davis immunity thing at Final Six. I think like there's a disconnect there. So talk about what you thought about that, and was it actually like detrimental to you or not? Like I think that's something that's important for you to get out. And then Nick, I also just want to say to you, like obviously, we were up and down every month. Sorry, my like phone is blowing up. We were, bouncing around the whole game, but I just wanted to say, like, obviously, when I trusted you, and when I didn't, which I think obviously is a testament to you. I just also want to say, like, I'm also pretty impressed. I didn't know, I mean, I knew about the fire tokens, but I didn't know about how you got them. So I think, that's something that's really, really impressive. And then I guess maybe just one question, I think, this game was really crazy and obviously like super stressful. So I want to ask you guys, I think, and maybe you don't think you made any, but did you make a mistake in this game? Like, do you think there's one point where you maybe should have done something else, or, it doesn't, and maybe you don't think you did, that's fine too, but just like a chance to, talk about that if you want.
Something comes right to the top of my head. I do think targeting you, Luke, at final 9 was like at the moment I was like for that vote and the final 8 vote. If you went, like I literally would felt like on top of the world. But after that, I realized like it was very good that you were still in the game for me. So I'm glad it worked out the way it did. But it at the same time, it also did like burn a bridge between us. I mean, we did trust each other after that, but I felt like our relationship could have been stronger after that. And that also would have lowered my threat level if I just like still went along with doing like Andrew, and it just wouldn't have made me look as big of a threat. It wouldn't have like burned a bridge possibly between you and me. Because like that was the first point where like I like literally was voting like trying to target you, and it was like obvious. So obviously that created like a rift between us. I know we kind of worked around it, but I do think it could have created a possible stronger bond between us had I not done that. But that's what comes to mind for me.
I have one for sure. I think mine would be voting for Davis, not at the final 5, but the vote. I forgot which one it was that I voted for Davis. Because it really got into my head. Oh my God, voice crack. It really got into my head that everyone was like, Davis is some god in this game, and he's going to win no matter what if he makes it to the end. I think that's just Davis's reputation. Luke, I know we've talked about that many times throughout the game. Davis, we all know, is a phenomenal player. He has a fantastic reputation, but because he has this fantastic reputation, the man is never going to make it to a final tribal council ever again, most likely. And he knows that, and we all probably know that. So Davis knew he couldn't go out swinging this entire time. He had to rely on his 2 closest allies, me and Luke, this entire game. We saved his butt 2 votes in a row by voting out Brady for the final, oh my God, number, something. I would say that's my biggest regret, because I know of what happened in the game between me, Luke, and Davis. And like I said, like you just want me to say, Luke, and how we want to describe why Davis getting immunity at the final 6 wasn't detrimental to my game, is because we didn't even want to vote for Davis. We entertained the idea of putting 2 votes on Davis, but we knew then we would lose. Most likely me or Davis would go home because it would be Luke, Nick J, and Hemi voting. If the power was between Luke, Nick J, and Hemi, I was probably going to go home. So why would I put a vote on Davis if I knew he was never going to vote for me in the first place? So I put 2 votes on Will, 2 votes on Nick J, and 2 votes on myself, ensuring that my 2 closest allies, Luke and Davis, would not vote for me, and I would make it to the final 5. So I would say I wish I listened to my gut and never voted for Davis before the final 5, because it was 50-50 shot between Nick J and Davis winning immunity. If Nick J won immunity, Davis was going home. If Nick J won immunity, I don't know. If Davis was winning immunity, Nick J was going to go home. If Nick J won immunity, Davis was going home. So basically, from the final 7, I guaranteed myself a spot in the final 4. I would say that's my answer to your question.
Yeah. So my mistake was trying to go for Davis in the final 9 and final 8. those were actually my only 2 wrong votes all season. And if that's that's my mistake.
Yeah, that's it for me, I think.
Okay, thank you, Luke. Moving on to juror number 8, Davis, you're up.
Yo, okay, so I'm just gonna kind of say what I'm thinking. I guess I'm gonna make it a question afterwards, I guess. So I'm gonna start with you, Hemi. So to me, your game was just like it was it was a hot I'm trying to think about how to say this like kind of nicely. It wasn't controlled. Like it was chaos, but it wasn't controlled chaos. It didn't seem like there was like like there was like a like thoughts behind the chaos or thoughts behind the madness, I guess. It was just like madness, I felt. So can you like I guess explain to me like all like the calculated like thought process you've had? Method of method to his madness. There's no method to his madness. That's But can you explain like the method to your madness? Like can you explain like like how you decided to do each reckless like chaotic thing you did?
Yeah, so at the final 7, I told every single person their name was out and that everyone was voting for them. And the reason I did that was to keep Rachel from having any doubts, was to make her think that, it was just Davis being voted out. But yeah.
Okay.
So you understand, or should I explain further?
No, I get what you're saying. Okay. Okay, yeah, I do think you played better than people give you credit for. I do think you were definitely a driving factor in a lot of the things that happened in the season. So no matter what, you definitely laid you laid your fingerprints all over this season, and I honestly think you made it you made it so fun. And you were a pleasure getting to meet, and you made me laugh all the time. So, good game, truly. On to
bro.
Let's do Billy. I'm gonna start Billy with a question. So why me over Nick J? Like I don't understand the thought.
At the final 5,
Yeah.
because that's just where everyone was voting. Why would I
Because
vote?
Will told me that it was like last second you guys were deciding.
It was really down to the minutes. But at
So
the
you
end,
could have fought for it.
I could have fought, yes, but at the same time, I probably would have had to do much more work if you were here at the final 3 with me, because everyone thought you were some god this entire game. But now I get to come here without having to worry about you sitting next to me and say, "Oh, I did this."
Okay,
Because
so
I know,
you think you had a chance of beating Nick J at the end.
yes,
Okay. Honestly, it's not a horrible read. I do think you could win, definitely. But I just I don't know your defining move. What is your move where you said this is Billy's move right here? What is your move in the game?
I would say final 6. Final 6 is my move. I came up with the idea for 3-way split. Me and Luke were thinking about voting you, but we didn't, because we ultimately decided that, like I said before, when I was answering Luke's question, if I voted you, I was probably going home. So we said 2 votes on Will, 2 votes myself, 2 votes on Nick J. And I knew I was gonna be safe because I knew you two were not gonna flip on me, and that guaranteed me final 5.
Okay.
So I would say that's my defining move.
All right, good answer.
Because you also know we were already talking about throwing the challenge to you already at the final.
No, good answer. Okay, that's all I really needed to hear. My vote is I think it's decided, but it definitely could be swayed. So, yeah, you just like close hard. And it's dude, I've loved playing this game with you. I'm glad we made it this far. It was truly awesome. All right, but that's it. I'm the Nick J. Nick J. It's no question you played an amazing game. Like it's no question at all. Everyone knows that you played really good. Um, I feel like your game was a little bit game body, a little bit, to be honest. Um, I feel like at a certain point, or honestly, maybe even like throughout most of the game, it kind of seemed like you you were playing more like I don't know, not really. I guess you're not like the best socially. I guess like more willing to like more villainously for sure. Which I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Um, but at final nine, when you screwed over your number one ally, because there's no question that Rachel was your number one ally, and I don't think she was voting you out anytime soon. Um, and you basically did it in exchange for two idols. So at to me, it's kind of like you're like, all right, I'm gonna just be like, I'm just gonna throw away kind of my social game, but in return, I'm gonna get like two idols. So it almost like took an aspect out of the game because then you were immune from you were only immune you only didn't have immunity for two votes. So when you're always immune, like you can play more aggressively. And but I will say, despite like in spite of that, you did kind of run the game after that happened still. Like despite your threat level, you still ran votes, you still did what you needed to do to move forward. And you knew that you needed me at five, and you managed to get me at five. So when you finally were immune and vulnerable, you stayed in the game. So I just like give me an example of like a connection you made this game that like didn't have like a strategic reason. Like it was just like where you talked about something non-game related.
I mean, I think it's like I understand everything you're saying, but I think it's an unfair assumption to say that I kind of like threw out the social aspect of the game after the final nine because like I still was getting on call with people and we weren't just talking game. Like me and Hemi, especially earlier on in the game, we did this more, but we talked obviously later in the game. We would just talk about stuff like, and I still like made it an aspect to talk with Will, but I think especially like the early game, me and Hemi like we called there was points I think especially the early game we called like the pre-merge we called like almost every day and we like barely talked about game with Sean, me and Sean in the beginning of the merge we had like a 2 hour phone call and I would say like 15 minutes of that was talking about game, everything else was talking about like real life stuff. I mean even me and you Davis, like we had a lot of phone calls and majority of those phone calls I would say was not about like it wasn't about game. Like we talked a lot about like random stuff, like politics. I don't know, like just stuff like that. Even with Fisher too in the beginning of the merge, me and Andrew too in the beginning of the merge, we talked and I think for 5 minutes, we had an hour-long conversation. I think 5 minutes was game, and we talked about American Ninja Warrior, we talked about Survivor, we talked about sports. Like so there was definitely like a consistent effort in social game. I think towards the end of the game though, I think it wasn't just like there wasn't as much social connection on my end because that's just like the way the game went. I don't think everyone was still in the phase of like trying to talk about life. People were more, and it wasn't just me. Is what I'm trying to say towards the end. I think that that's just the way the game goes towards the end. Like people aren't still trying to make real connections.
I think, I think, honestly, this is like you played this game, like you played a damn good game. Like,
Yeah.
you deserve you you're probably gonna win. I think so. I think it would be a well deserved win. I think you know you did what you had to do. You definitely were a little bit ruthless, but I respect that gameplay. So um, yeah, good game, guys. That's all I have to say. Really.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Davis. Moving on to the final juror, Will.
Oh my gosh, that's the second time you said that about me. That's so funny. So, hello guys. I want to say I adore all three of you. At one point at one point in time in this game, I've worked with all three of you, and at one point in this time, I have targeted all three of you. So that's a really fun dichotomy there. Let me see what I was gonna. So yeah, I think that you should all be proud of the games that you played. I don't think anyone here necessarily played like a everyone here has had merit to their game, to say the least. I'm gonna start with Hemi. My first question to Hemi is, did you like genuinely like I still can't tell, did you want to win the game? Like, were you genuinely trying to make moves to get yourself in a position? Because I remember after the Rachel vote, because I was like, why on earth would Hemi vote for Rachel? And so I was like, hey yo, why would you vote for Rachel? And then he was like, why not, bro? And then I was, and so he was like, I'm not winning anyway. And so at this point, I was like, okay, it was pretty clear. Like, I just thought, oh, you're just causing chaos for fun. You were like, I don't think I can win. But like, in a weird way, you like almost controlled everything. You were like at your whims. And there was like no rhyme or reason to it. Like, you had literally like no reason to do anything. But like, you were like, we were all at your mercy. And it was giving very Sugar and Gabon. I was like, why is Hemi running this show? He has no right to have all this power. Like, we're bowing down to King Hemi. What the fuck is he doing with it? So my question to you is, were you genuinely trying to win the game? And do you think that you were actually like making moves to get yourself to win the game?
Okay, so after I think I don't quite remember what vote it was. I think it was after Final 8. I got on a call with Davis where he just said, yeah, I think you're gonna need to do something big to win this game. That's when I snapped. I felt like I was just being dragged to the final 3 like a sheep to a slaughterhouse. And I didn't want to stop swinging. I needed to do something. So my goal was to cause chaos, just to cause chaos, really. But yeah, it was just my mind snapping, you know.
So
but it was to get myself further in the game, if you understand what I mean.
But were you trying to win? Yes or no? Like, were you trying to win the game?
Yeah.
Okay. Billy, we've had a fun relationship out of Conquest. This is both to Billy and Hemi. Like, I understand sort of your logic, but I was just kind of stunned when you said your biggest regret was not voting out Davis Powell sooner. I'm just like, because you were in a position where if Davis or Nick J went down, you can say whatever you want. Like, I completely understand you. Like, you guys played great games. Don't get me wrong, but if one of them got to the end, they were win. Like, it's not even like a question. I'm sorry. Like, if you can say, I don't think that they were that big of a threat, but that was like kind of like some of the god shit that Davis was doing. Like, the fact that y'all didn't think he was that big of a threat, I was like, what type of like mist is this man putting onto y'all? So like, I don't know. That was just kind of weird to me. But I think, Billy, you played a great adaptable game, and I liked working to you to the end. I think we've had a very fun like ride. But like, are you for real that saying you don't think that Davis went at the time that he should have went?
No, I think he did go at the time he should have went. Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah. So you don't wish that Davis went anytime sooner?
No, I don't wish Davis went anytime sooner.
Okay.
Because he was feeding me information valuable to me the entire merge. So I used that to my advantage. So did Luke. He, on multiple occasions, came to me and Luke, because we both talked about it, and said, look, whatever you guys want to do, I'm good with it.
I mean, that shows.
No,
oh, sorry.
No, you go. What you're saying.
I mean, I think that's just good gameplay on Davis's part. Like, I understand that like he was making himself an asset to you. And so when you guys had other more logical people who wanted to work with you, who were probably more beatable final 3 combinations, you were actively choosing someone because you just had a better working relationship with them. And I feel like that's more I think that's more just positives on his part than necessarily strategy on your part. I understand the logic behind it 100%, but like I don't know. I just if it I understand it. It's just questionable to me. But again, you made it to the end. I did not.
Right.
Like you made it to the end. I did not. Nick J, okay, but sorry, if you want to comment on that, you totally can. Sorry, I'm like kind of a mess. I'm kind of like
No, you're fine. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to see the game. We all have different points of view this entire game. It's hard. Like I tried to tell you throughout merch, like, and so did Luke, that like, like if you really want to do Davis, like that's fine, but da 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 da, and you would just never. We were just never gonna see eye to eye on that. Sure, maybe that was Davis's gameplay, that he was just gonna throw himself out there for me, but what benefit did that do for Davis?
Made you
Like,
think more.
yeah, but like if he's not doing anything, if I'm doing the things for him and telling him who to vote, is he really playing that great of a game?
I mean, just from me personally, I had like with when I've had my personal interactions with Davis, like no, like I totally get it, but like, in the end of the day, jury perception is
Right.
everything.
Yes, of
I feel
course.
like, and I feel like a lot of people were misted. Like I understand that like maybe he didn't play as great of a game as the perception was, but the perception was that he was playing an amazing game. Yeah, Hemi, you can definitely comment.
Okay, so from what I heard from you is, I think you, what's the word? I think I said that I regretted that I didn't get him out sooner. But what I regretted was actually targeting him that soon, because those were the. You understand?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Nick J, I'm gonna be like, you played amazingly. We've been together since the beginning. I always like I when we were out, like we like that Girls Gaze and Nick J's alliance. That was like one of my favorite alliances I've ever been in. Like I would usually be hesitant to vote like for someone who like had like idols and shit and all that, because I'm just like, this is surviving off the Olympics. But like I feel like like your social game was like genuinely like your social game helped you way more than those idols immunities were. Now there were some times where you chose idols over like some relationships, but in the end of the day, it got you here. And I'm gonna be honest, y'all. Like part of the reason why like when it was me and Billy like flipping back and forth on like who on like to vote for like Nick J or Davis at the final five. Part of it was just because like I knew like there was chances are one of y'all was running fire, and I just would have rather you won. Which, like, no offense, Davis, I think you're awesome. I love you, played amazing, but like, I just because of the relationship that I had with Nick J, I was just like, it was partly strategic, but like, I'm not gonna lie, it was like a little bit like emotional, and I feel like that is an attestament to your social game. But yeah, like, I think that you guys are amazing, and Heavy, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm considering voting for you because we were all at your mercy. Like, it's kind of freaking insane. Like you had all this power that you should not have, and that you had no responsibility to have. But like, you're all at mercy. But I think, yeah, I don't know. Let me think of a good final question to wrap this all up with. What if you had to go through every member of the jury and give them and assign them a no, that's too long. What the fuck? Sorry, I'm like really sick. It's scatterbrained right now. Yeah, sure, a type of juice. And you can include clam juice. You can include tomato juice. You can include any type of liquids that come out of wherever. If you want to go through every member of the jury and describe and give them a type of juice, what would it be? And you can say why, that'll give you extra points, but if not, that's totally fine. Hemi, go.
Okay. So we're starting on Fisher. Ooh. I think
This
Bro,
decides my jury vote right here.
this is a hard question, you know. Uh, um,
Andrew.
bro.
Hemi, you have 10 seconds to give the first answer.
Okay, first answer. Fisher.
3,
You
2.
were cranberry juice.
Oh, what do you say?
Cranberry juice.
Okay.
Because I don't know, why not? Next one. Oscar. He isn't here. Sean isn't here. Wait, who was next? Andrew. Ooh. My man.
10, 9.
Bro, I can't go on with this question.
Okay,
man.
okay. Billy, you can go.
I'm gonna give Davis apple juice because that's what I drink in the morning. And if I had to wake up in the morning and see someone's face, and I would be happy if it was Davis's. I don't know. I'm gonna give fruit punch to Rachel because you love fruit punch, you always love it, but it's always that punch that like it's always there and you always gotta worry about it. I'm gonna go with Andrew, and I'm gonna give him orange juice because there is some times where he was playing a game where there was no pulp, but then there was also times where there were games where there was pulp. And then I'm gonna give lemonade to Brady because that just makes sense. And I think the only person I'm missing because I love lemonade. Look, I have my own drink at work and it has lemonade in it. So I'm gonna give you lemonade. Be honored. And Luke, I'm gonna give you I don't know if this counts, but I'm gonna go with Capri Sun. Because I fucking love Capri Sun. And I fucking love Luke. There you go.
You didn't get
Bro,
Fisher.
Did you just skip me?
Sorry, there's so many juices. Fisher, you get what's another good juice out there? You get the juice I'm drinking right now, which I won't tell what anyone it is, but I will share that after because that's probably not good that I'm drinking this right now.
Okay. Nick J, I'm gonna change yours to animal just for funsies.
Oh, I had such good juice ones.
Okay,
All right,
you can also mention the juices. If you had good juices, you can
I
mention
will.
them.
I'm still gonna mention some juices. All right, Fisher. I'm just gonna go like jury order. Fisher, you're like a jaguar. Like sometimes I just want to like cuddle with you and like want to work with you, but then it's like you don't know where you're going. So it's like I don't know what's up with you. So then Oscar, I would say is like a chihuahua. Just like you never know like what he like sometimes he's like really cute and adorable and he's great and then it's like he just like he goes crazy and it's like what is going on? What is going on? Sean is like I'm like one of the little like purse dogs. Like he's always there for you. He's there, he's really comforting. Andrew, you're like I don't want to say a bull. I want to say more like a like an I want to say an elephant though because you're really intimidating. But once you get to know, there's like a soft side of you that just like wants genuinity. You know, I don't know if genuinity is the word, but Brady, I would say you're kind of like a flamingo. Like you it just makes like the same thing with the lemonade. It just makes sense. I don't know how to explain that. Like I just flamingo. Rachel, Rachel is like she's like I don't want to say like what are those like what was that show that had like the animal I want to say like kind of like a transformer. I know that's not an animal, but like you're just like coasting like a car, and then you just like transform, and there's like so much that like comes out that you just don't expect. Like from the like first time I played with you, you never would expect like so much going on. So, and then also, and then who it was Luke. Luke, I want to say is like Luke is like a fox. Like he's so like you see a fox and you know that foxes are these like grand intelligent things, and then you see them and it's like wait, they're more like approachable than like I thought, and they're more like they're better than I thought, but there's still like a layer of them that like yeah. Davis, I had a really good juice for you, and I was gonna say I was gonna say wine, and the reason I was gonna say wine was because like you take like your first sip, you're like, this is not good. Like I'm like, anytime I go into a game with you, I'm like, I don't know if I want to work with you. And then you get like, you're like 3 glasses down, and it's like, okay, this is like great. Like I'm so glad like I did this. And then also like the animal Davis is just like, hey, humans are animals, and Davis is like, I just feel like that embodies Davis, like a human, just because like he just like it's so like there's so many like layers and sides to Davis. And then Will, I would go with this one's tricky. You're given like a female lion, not a male lion. I'm gonna say female lion because like they don't do the attacking, but they're there to like they care for everyone, but then they like still benefit off all the attacking, if that makes sense. All right. Yeah. Lioness, yes.
That was that all amazing. Great answers. Love you all. Good. Best of the luck of you. Best of the luck. Wait. Best of luck to all of you. What the fuck? And I hope that we can all stay in contact afterwards. And yeah, just this is the best. This is the best season of Survivor I've ever played, and I love you all. So yeah, bye.
Okay, thank you, Luke. So now it is time. I mean, not Luke. Sorry. Well, now it is time for the closing statement. So we are now going to go in reverse order. So, Nick J, you'll be up first. You have 5 minutes.
Okay.
Closing statement.
Just like my opening statement, this is gonna be shorter, but I played a game. I don't want to say I played a game where I made big moves. I made calculated moves. Sometimes those moves were flashy. Sometimes they weren't, and it was discreet. But I knew what I was doing would position me to get to the end against people that I thought I had the best chance at. I hope you guys see the immense like the immense socialization, the dedication I had in this game. I focused on my social game early on so I could make those strategic maneuvers. And yeah, I hope you guys see the strength in the game I played, and I hope you consider voting me. And yeah, I actually like genuinely, this was like such a fun game, and I'm so glad like I got to know all of you more. Whether we knew each other before this, I feel like I'm closer with like everyone here, like going like after this game. So yeah. And thank you, Isaiah, being a great host. And that's all.
Okay, thank you. Nick J, Hemi, you're up 5 minutes for a closing statement.
Okay, so yeah, this will be a little bit shorter than my opening statements. Yeah, this season was so much fun, so much chaos, just everything all at once. And if you don't have anything else positive to say about me, you at least can't say I didn't have dedication. I'm up here every night at 3 a.m. competing and on these multiple hour calls with different people, and my dedication to this game is immense, and I hope you see that, and I hope I get some votes.
All right, thanks, Hemi. Billy, wrap this up.
Okay. Yeah, like the other two, wild ride. Holy shit. I've like I said, I've played a great adaptable game. If I was on the bottom, I was on the top the next vote. I always was able to find a path to put myself in a better position whenever I was on the bottom, no matter what. Whether that meant working with someone who didn't like me at the time and wanted to vote me out a vote earlier, or if they wanted to vote me down the line, possibly. I think I played a great overall game. I got it out who I needed to get out. I won 3 immunities, and I didn't need a single immunity idol to rely on. It was an honor. I hope I received your vote. But genuinely, thank you so much. Thank you, Isaiah. Thank you, Kyle, for reminding me to apply before I forgot. It was too late. But yeah, I can't wait to talk to all of you after and hear all your thoughts, really.
All right. Thank you, Billy. So now it's about to, I guess, have the season go into a close. But before we do that, Nick J has something to say.
Okay, like I have to use this. I just want to preface this because if it were my choice, I would not be using this. But it's a remove a juror. I couldn't do an add a juror, which is kind of fucked up. So it's not a remove, it's like blocking one of their votes. So I actually have not like thought about removing. So now I'm actually thinking about this. Obviously, I'm just gonna probably block who I think is not gonna vote me. That's just like how it's intended to be used. I mean, I could be wrong, and I actually no. Out of like respect of all you guys, like you guys came here, I'm just gonna block someone that isn't here. So I'm gonna block. See, this is gonna look real stupid if one of them voted me, but it's like, yeah. I'm gonna block. I'll say Sean's vote. Yeah, just because he's not here, out of respect for you guys showed up and you sat through this whole thing. So I don't want to make you sit through this whole thing and then you don't have a vote. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can confirm that is a juror block advantage. So Sean's vote has been blocked. All right, so for the very last time this season, I'm going to ask you guys to vote for a winner. So we're going to go from juror number 1 to juror number 9. Fisher, you are up first.
Give me the thing that I'm
Can I like ask you to write it a certain way? Like if like I add an emoji or something, can like
yeah, sure.
His marker's dying. So
I'll send the
It
vote
kind of is dying,
just
but
so you at least have it for now, and then I'll send a confessional with it.
Isaiah, I hope you're a good artist.
He's not.
Rachel's gonna send like the skyline emoji and expect it to be.
And they can draw like a
Can
whole
you
like a caricature.
Actually, guys, the way that voting is going to work is Isaiah's going to draw a self-portrait of whoever you choose to vote. So good luck.
That would be way funnier, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you have to guess
Andrew,
who. The problem is you have to. You do have to guess
have
who
a
you
picture
voted.
of who I'm voting for.
All right, guys. Andrew, you're up next.
I'm so excited for the reunion. We have a lot to say about this season.
I did too.
But you guys aren't gonna like rankings. Oh man, you guys sucked. Especially you, Matt K, and iPhone 2.
I hope not I'm here.
Is that the beginning of the Pokemon theme song?
No, I'm listening to Applause by Lady Gaga.
Oh.
Bro.
You okay. I wanna be the
During
very
Pride
best.
Month? Wow.
Wow. Thank you, Matt K. One season 2 and 5 player, one season 6 player, and one
Brady,
newbie.
you're up.
So, did any of you listen to any particular music before this?
I listened to that Kanye song you talked about.
Rachel.
I listened to some like whale noises. It was like, it was like
I
a
listened
whale
to the-
noise song.
I listened to the whole Dante Deluxe version, all 2 hours 17 minutes before the remove a juror challenge.
Oh, so there was nothing in the fishing. Wait, there was nothing in the fishing gear, right? Or is there actually something?
No, there's nothing in the
We'll
fishing
talk
gear.
about that.
We'll talk. Let me get to the
about
vote,
that in a
please.
moment.
Rachel, you up next.
Brady, you're not allowed to vote for Circle. They didn't make FTC this season. That's season 9, shapes themed.
Can I vote for Star?
No, yeah, Hexagon is my winner pick.
You're quite assuming to think that Circle would make the FTC.
These are the
like
only
the
two I
vote was
didn't
Kinda
know.
messy. Like I just keeps on going like around and around. I like don't know where like I just don't think it can think straight. So I feel like it was just too messy.
We all know Star is the best.
I lost the other two papers, so these are really my only options.
Well, if we ever do that challenge again, you're gonna be
Squiggly line, obviously.
No, that's a square.
My
you mean.
favorite shape.
That's what you meant.
Luke, you're up.
Tell me if you know someone that needs.
Wish we could turn back time to the good old days. Back before
I'm
this
drunk
season
in the back of the car and I cry.
Did I fucking ask you to start singing?
Open the car.
No.
I'm fine, but it wasn't true.
Somebody else is up. I think that's Davis. Davis, you're up.
I think instead of the Rarama tribe, we could have been called the Taylor Swift tribe. And
Literally.
I don't like Taylor Swift though, honestly.
Well, that's like
I should.
If you said that in Karma, you'd get voted in immediately.
And you
I'm
don't
so-
want to get voted in karma, trust me.
Not in Karma. If Karma's a game of roulette. Remember that? I'm bringing that back.
So
Really
I
moment we all
I
just
personally
said.
think Taylor Swift has very good lyrics, but
Will,
I don't like
you're
the
up.
music.
I respect that take, Tammy.
No, I don't agree with that take. I will say I think there's
Did you
better
hear that? You're voting.
vocalists. I think
Everyone shut up! Will, did you hear
That's
that? You're
rich
voting.
coming from me.
Wait, y'all got my vote, right?
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you heard that you
Yes.
called for your vote because everyone.
And I want you to
Okay,
write it
good.
like that. I want you to
Yeah,
write it
I
like
was gonna write it like that. So
he was gonna write it like that.
he's definitely gonna guys, I think he's gonna write it like
Wait,
that.
Isaiah, do you have like 10 parchments or do you like use them?
I have 10. I have 10. Yeah.
Have you ever like had
Like-
to use extra?
Wait,
I only have 10, so there has been times where I've shown the same one because, you know, like an emerge situation or whatever.
So as of so far, we have not had a 12-person where everyone gets one vote. That would really fuck Isaiah.
He's
All right, I received all the votes. Just give me a second.
if anyone
If
has
I get 0 votes, I'm gonna commit
you have an
grand
idol?
arson.
Insert obligatory idol called joke.
So I do have two more
So,
tries to use this.
I have an idol here.
Right.
And it guarantees me at least 6 votes at this tribal.
Congrats.
First vote, Hemi. Second vote, Hemi. Third vote, Hemi. Fourth vote, Hemi.
To be honest, I'm the unanimous winner, you know.
All right, guys, I have received all the votes. Before I read the votes, I want to thank you all for an amazing season of Survivor Conquest. This is definitely one of the best, some may argue and say the best season we've ever had. You guys have exceeded my expectations.
Oh no.
You're lagging.
Am I lagging?
Yeah.
Oh,
Am I good?
there you
Am I
are.
good now?
Think about
I
it.
think you're good now. You're good now. Oh yeah, you're better.
You good?
He's getting like lag before he reads the last vote.
I don't want to lag when I start reading the votes, so I just.
Oh, come on, he's lagging.
Oh shit. Well, we'll see you guys
Golly.
tomorrow. We'll see you guys back in Los Angeles for the reading of the votes.
Remember when Devin made us wait?
All right.
Yeah, Hop Games, man.
No, just go out that door. The one of the only.
It has
Good.
lagged this whole season.
For Hub Games, what will even have
Isaiah,
happened?
just
Because
give
they
the
never finished
parchments to
posting.
Kyle.
I don't have any
Yeah, the
parchment and I don't have a shirt on, but sure.
overnight 'em.
All right, go, Isaiah. I think you're good.
Am I good?
I don't
I
think.
think yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's good. He's good.
I'm
Just
good.
wave your arms
Yep.
around like you just don't care.
I'm
Yeah.
good. Okay,
Okay, yeah.
you guys hear like what I said earlier?
Something about it being good.
Yeah, I guess it was an okay.
And he's like,
Oh my god.
Isaiah, start fucking lagging again. You might already be.
Yep, he's
Yep,
already
yes.
lagging.
Okay.
No, I just wasn't moving. Am I lagging now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Oh, good photo, Matt. Well, great season, guys. I really enjoyed. Yeah, Matt was a real big fan. I
Matt
think
K, are
McGuire
you
showed up
is
for a tribal council.
this the same Matt K who I like from like my
Yes.
season?
Yes,
Yes,
it is.
Yes, it
Where I
is.
was just high and you just made a confessional saying I don't trust him.
Am I
Dude,
good?
I didn't trust you because I was on I was at
Hi.
What?
Hi, Isaiah. You look better now.
Isaiah, you're good.
Am I good
You're
now?
good.
Isaiah, go, Isaiah, go!
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, stop. So, all right. So, for the last time this season, I will read the votes. First vote, Nick. Billy. That's one vote, Nick. One vote, Billy. Nick. That's two votes, Nick. One vote, Billy. Billy, we're tied again. That's two votes, Nick. Two votes, Billy. Nick, that's three votes, Nick. Two votes, Billy. Nick, that's four votes, Nick. Two votes, Billy. The winner of Survivor Conquest Season 7, Nick J. Congratulations, Nick J. It was a 6-2 vote. So how does it feel to win this season from first boot to winner?
Hey, that feels amazing. And all I want to say is, Justin, you're still working at Cracker Barrel, and I just won Survivor Conquest. So who got the last laugh? All right.
All
But it
right.
feels really good.
Actually,
Really.
Cracker Barrel tastes pretty good.
All right. So, Billy, you have some words. You got second place, got two votes to win. What do you have to say?
It was really fun. I'm really happy I got to play again for the first time in a while. It would have been fun if I won, but I'm honestly I've done it in so long. It feels nice. The last time I played for you, I came in fucking 11th. I went right before merge. So I'm happy I made it all the way as far as one could in this game. I'm really, really happy.
All right, Hemi, would you like to say something as well?
All I wanted was one vote.
I was really close to giving you a vote, Hemi. Like I was really close.
Okay, so yeah, it was a 6-2 vote. By the way, am I lagging? I feel like I'm lagging.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe just turn off your camera or something. Maybe that'll help, Isaiah.
Maybe,
No one wants to
maybe.
look at your face anyway.
What about now? Am I good?
A
Okay.
little bit, but let's just see how it goes.
Okay, so yeah, it was a 6-2 vote. By the way, Nick J, Sean did pre-vote for you, so you kind of blocked the vote that you already got, but it didn't matter.
Yeah. I would have felt bad if I don't know. Wait, can you say who voted Billy? Or who voted me?
I believe Fisher and Luke voted for Billy.
Oh, thanks,
Almost
God.
blocked you, Fisher. Should have done it.
Bitch, you didn't vote me first.
All right, so yes.
That wasn't even the reason for my vote.
Now can thing in the fishing gear. Nobody bought it. There was another extortion in the fishing gear.
What?
I should have.
I
There
would
was
have
a
bought
really
it
cool
if I
photo
had
too.
enough.
Yeah, I'm sure you would have any.
If
All
I
right.
only had them, you know.
Where was
I don't
what
know,
was the
Isaiah.
original? Where was the
Oh,
original?
where was your guys' tribes? Okay, yes. So you guys were sent a video of a walk through the woods. If you notice, there are some very distinct bird calls in the video. There was one bird that chirped that stood out 5 times. There was another bird that chirped that stood out another time. But basically is that you had to count the distinct bird calls and then send that code to Isaiah, and you would have gotten the idol. We were going to send another clue, but Ymir ended up getting it before we could. And then we didn't send another clue after that.
I wish I studied
did I
birds before I
did I
played.
mirror
Damn
have
it.
a idol?
Davis, our tribe idol, I was on the fucking word search for so long.
Oh yeah, that's also true. Fisher lied to everyone about how long it took him. He was there before anyone else by like 10 minutes.
Wow.
I couldn't fucking find it.
Question: did Ymir go idle in pocket, or so?
Yeah.
He did go,
Okay.
yes, he did go out of pocket.
That's so funny.
That's
I
why it
mean,
was
I
re-hidden.
believe,
though.
Detrimental because
Oh,
watching
That's
this.
why it was re-hidden.
Checkmate.
Oopsie
Yo,
oopsie.
Yeah, a few other housekeeping things. It wasn't mentioned during the game, but Nick J winning those 2 immunities gives him the franchise record for immunity wins at 7. He definitely holds the record for idols because he had 4 this season and he had 1 in his original season. So he definitely holds the record for 5 with that. So his threat level for All Stars 2 is
Oh
just going up.
God.
Yeah, just go home for food
The
again.
top, we've already done rankings for the season, although after FTC, I think we are going to change. I don't know, Isaiah, are we going to change that one thing that we talked about during FTC? Because I think we should.
I think, yeah. I think
Okay, so I can pull up rankings, unless you want to read them. They're in the doc, Isaiah. Or you know what to switch.
you can go ahead.
Oh, fuck you, I don't have it open. Ah, fuck, where is it? Okay. All right, rankings for this season. Conquest rankings. Am I crystal clear? Am I not lagging at all?
You're good.
All right, I'll go bottom up because that seems like the people that care are going to be at the end. All right, so in last place we had Raul. So he was 18th because he actively voted himself out of the game, whereas Zaid, who is 17th, everyone regretted voting him out the second it happened.
That's for I think.
No, I didn't.
I don't
Wait, who regretted it?
Whatever.
Quite a few
Everyone
people
talked openly
did.
about it.
Quite a few people did based on what I heard on
No,
calls.
that's
Oh
ridiculous.
shit.
Whatever.
I think
Some of you
Raul.
actually wanted to
Anyways.
get me out. Are you kidding me?
I think Raul should be
Anyways.
up by me. Raul
Wait,
should
no,
be.
Andrew, I wouldn't have wanted
Anyways,
you
number
instead,
16,
but-
number 16 is Ymir. He just went way too long.
Oh, Ymir.
What do you mean?
Next we have
Let me be
my
totally honest
personal
here.
favorite. Oh, go ahead.
At final 7 and 6, I was trying to Ymir myself out.
What?
Oh yeah, he talked about that too. Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Then next, my personal favorite. You have no idea how badly I wanted this person to make merge. Was Raphael. Oh,
I'll be honest.
that broke my heart when he got voted out right before the merge.
Dude, Andrew didn't vote Rafa. Andrew voted Sean.
Yeah. And next up, we have in 14th we have NATO. In
You
13th
took
we
my
have
will
Carbon.
vote and voted Sean? What the?
I did, it was so
That's
obvious
what
Fisher had to
Tom
do
called
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we called it.
Why?
At 12th we had Fisher. At 11 we have Andrew. 10th and 9th. At 10th we have Oscar, and at 9 we have Sean. Those
Why?
two are
Why am I
probably
ranked below them?
interchangeable, but I'm sure we'll get into it afterwards. But you just were it was a tough call, but we'll get into it.
I'm gonna do my own
Anyways, I'll
ranking.
just finish up
Absurd.
rankings. Number 8 we have Brady Miller. Number 7 we have Hemi. Number 6 we have Rachel. Number 5 we have Will. Number 4 we have Luke. Number 3 Davis. Number 2 Billy, and number 1 Nick J. We had rankings made like last night because we assumed Nick J was going to win. We also have the DVD cover made, I'm pretty sure.
Oh golly, oh that fucking awful picture. I can't believe Isaiah used that. I sent him that.
That was the best one you gave me.
That was a joke picture. I was holding my phone and it said vocal rest. Sorry.
Yeah, but I wasn't gonna put that in the edit.
Oh, whatever.
Okay, so I mean, does anyone have any questions? Anything? Anyone think
I have a
anyone's curious
question.
about?
Why
We can
is
talk about people's
Raul
games. I don't care.
why is Raul below Amir?
Yeah,
I'm
come
serious-
on.
I'm
I'm
serious.
here.
Found
I'm
it.
here.
I-
I'm here
That's a
in
serious
Amir at least
question.
because Amir at least survived a tribal council, and
Okay,
he
but
found
Amir
an
backed
idol. Yeah, he
himself.
went.
I'm
Yeah,
here to-
Raul out to first tribal council.
Okay, but Raul went out for like kind of no reason. I'm here like I'm here.
I think
I'm here.
Raul went out because he didn't socialize well
guess.
with other people.
R.I.P. Raul robbed.
I mean, I love Raul, but like it was very hard to like.
I'm just
Raul
make an
I
got
think
argument
it
it.
would have been
against
beautiful
him.
if Raul could have
Raul
been
got
here.
Imired real hard.
There was just no reason like to keep him.
Yeah.
Raul died. Raul died loyal to Nick J.
He did, and he gave me his token. He
And
gave
gave
me
him
his
his
token too
token.
after I voted him.
Dude, I was so
Yeah,
sad y'all
that
voted
was
out
interesting.
NATO.
He like thought the vote was me and then was the only person to vote for me. So
Okay, Fisher, NATO kept lying about them.
I know, but NATO was cool.
He was
I
really
like NATO.
cool. NATO
I
was
really
really
like
Marvin
NATO.
was cool.
I think
NATO was
NATO was a Billy. Was from the Billy like from my first season.
I was.
No, I really
remember-
liked NATO. He
I
was
remember
cool.
y'all voted out NATO, and then I got his token. I was like, yes, fuck yes.
He was just like he made like a bunch of group chats and like it was like messy. And then he was
He has some
First
potential.
day, first day he went to everyone and said, tell me I have you back 100%. Tell me if if my name's out there and I'll do the same. He literally told everyone like the same exact.
But so did Amir. Amir was just called me. He was like,
oh yeah,
we're working together, right? Like it's obvious. Like
yeah, he did that too. It's obvious we're working together.
Amir was so hard gunning for Nick J and Rachel.
Yeah, he was, and
He was like,
glad it didn't
they
work out.
told me that you're a goat and they're just gonna manipulate you till the
we
end
never
of the game. And I was like,
Yeah,
I would never
I
say
was
that.
totally gonna
especially
do
at the-
that until I mirrored
Yeah,
that.
why
I
would
would
we
not-
ever
like
at
the
final
when he
team, I would
when
not.
Amir would create the first tribal, he was just doxing me. Will, someone is idling Raul. You have to vote for Nick J.
He
I'm
did
like,
that
who
to
the
me.
fuck's idling Raul? Like, why the fuck would someone idle Raul?
He asked me if we
he
should
told
throw
me
Nick J the
that
first
Brady was
vote.
going for me.
literally, if you were on Buto Buto, you better be praising Jesus because y'all had it so fucking nice.
Yeah, those were
Nothing bonded us.
Where?
Nothing bonded us closer than our hatred of. I'm not hatred of Amir. He's a great person, lovely
Love
person.
him, love him.
Lovely
But
human being.
the player.
But like in this game,
know
nothing
what?
brought us closer than our anti-Amirness.
No,
Guys,
literally, I was like fully in Amir's corner, and then I was here.
Yeah,
like,
Low-key, though,
He,
like if you're on
he
the
was my
Rama
he was
Rama
my
tribe, I
number
feel like
one
it
up
was.
until then.
I feel like the Rama Rama tribe was kind of better because y'all had momentum coming into the tribe. We came
Yeah.
in kind of like a dead fish, and that kind of showed up
That's
through
true.
when I was like,
I feel like
not
I
knowing
don't know
what to
how.
do.
From our perspective, I don't know how many people predicted it, but I could have told you from the fucking marooning that the second that you guys merged, Oscar was gonna go fucking running to race.
Oh,
Oscar told me that like in the pregame, he was like, "No, we need to get Davis out immediately." And then,
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh
how it
yeah,
wasn't
by the way,
expected. Oscar
that was one
like,
of the
Luke and Billy, we
that
remember
was
we were
one of the
considering
biggest
we wanted the
things.
vote of Oscar. We just it was at the fucking Rafa tribal.
Oh, Raphael's there. Raph said congrats, Nick
Yeah.
J. Good job.
We were like,
oh, what a sweetie.
I hope he's
Yeah.
back for season 8. He deserves it.
like, I'll be honest. At this point, I'm not considering changing.
The coders and the end.
Okay, wait. What did y'all want to say about the season? What did y'all want to say about the season?
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to. I
Oh,
would like to know
gosh,
why
okay.
my
For
rankings
me-
below freaking Oscar and Sean.
Okay, yeah, I guess I'll shed some light. Andrew, I think you came in here very much a unique person in that you have never played a game before, comparable to everyone else here who has definitely played a ton of games before. And so a lot of players who play their first game tend to be very, very loyal, and they tend to grow more deceptive as they play more games. And I think that was the case for you. Where I think you fall below Sean and Oscar in rankings is because while you were part of like that Buto Buto alliance, you were definitely seen more as their fourth number. And I think it's a testament that you kept blowing up every plan they came up with. And it got to the point where at Final 9, when all was said and done, instead of taking out someone opposing them, they chose instead to cut someone from their own alliance because you were proving to be more of a liability than anything else. I will say, though, I really appreciated you because you were fucking wildly entertaining, and you brought such a such a breath of fresh air to the fandom, because we very rarely ever get players who are new to the fandom playing their first game before. So you are absolutely somebody that I love to watch play, because it's a lot of fun getting to see someone play the game for the very first time. I know Isaiah disagrees because he didn't like how that you were less active in the pre-merge, but I fucking loved you because I think you brought a lot of fun to the season. Although, yeah, I will say I don't think your gameplay was as good as it could have been.
Yeah, that's what I think. Is like the loyalty to instead screwed me.
I will say
I have
my
I
favorite
have an
thing-
announcement.
Yes, Hemi.
This is probably my last game in a while.
Aww.
Said a lot.
I'm so numb to that.
My favorite thing about Andrew is whenever I would ask him, "Hey, are you voting for me?" and he just say, "Do I have to tell you?" And I would just be like, "I mean, yeah." And then he's like, "Okay, fine." That was
I thought it was refreshing to play the game with someone that like wasn't so focused on like I knew if I talked
like honestly, you're like it was really fun.
Thank you.
My favorite
Right,
moment was fucking Rachel
yeah,
and Andrew
apart
in a
from that,
breakout.
our overall thoughts on the season. For me, I know Isaiah ranks this his second favorite season because he has a hard-on for All Stars. But I think this was easily the best season Conquest has ever had. From moment one, it was absolutely amazing. Every single person on the cast proved themselves in some way. There wasn't a dud on the cast, even the people that went early.
Maybe Zane. I mean,
R.I.P. Raul.
Yo, everyone, I'm going to sleep.
Carvin was
See ya.
kind of done.
Good night.
Carvin was sweet.
Carvin wasn't great, but he was I mean, he wasn't a dud in that he wasn't blankly inactive. He was there doing stuff. He just wasn't great.
He was leaving me on scene a lot.
He was leaving me on scene.
Kinda hurt so
But go,
Yeah.
Carvin.
Carvin and I sort of talked, kinda, maybe.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying everyone
Carvin.
was good. I'm just saying that everyone brought something to the season.
Zay brought that
Some
one
just weren't
point to
great.
the challenge.
Yeah,
What was
he got that one point.
Vote out.
Oh, the Andrew tribal, I think it might be the best tribal in Conquest history. I fucking
you're
love
welcome.
that tribal.
I was trying so hard
Seeing,
not to be
okay,
loyal.
well, because what we saw from our perspective, what we saw was Nick J was debating between using it on Rachel or Davis. We knew Davis had just bought the extra votes, so we knew he didn't have any tokens. So I wanted so fucking badly for Nick J to steal those
fuck
tokens
you,
from
Kyle.
Rachel. No, I wanted you to use it on Rachel just to see the reaction. And oh my god, it was fucking insane.
And then I started fake
That's
crying some of the breakout runs. Yeah, that was a yeah.
And then everybody was trying to ask me so many questions, and I was trying so hard not
Andrew,
to
if you-
blow it up completely.
Rachel drags
Andrew.
Andrew into a breakout room. It's like, "Psst, oh, you want to go?" And just pushing onto Andrew. Like, and then Andrew finally breaks. He's like, "Okay, don't tell anyone." Will.
It's just
It was the most
pressure got to me
horrible
then, and I
thing
got
ever.
screwed by
Rachel
that.
was like peer pressuring Andrew.
Oh my
Like,
god.
Yeah.
it was horrible.
Andrew, I just, I
Guys,
Okay, guys,
I'm
sorry.
allowed to use intimidation tactics, so am I.
Guys, I'm sorry if I blow it.
wait, Andrew.
Okay, no,
Okay.
Andrew,
Okay.
I was about to vote
What's
for
that?
Nick J, so
Blame Rachel.
Andrew, I just
Excuse me.
want you to no, like I wasn't like actively targeting you. Like I didn't like actively want you out. Like it wasn't like I was saying we need to get Andrew out every single vote. I just want you to
Drag
know
your
that.
name through the mud.
Oh no, I was dragging your name through the mud. I was just like, I'm sorry, like
Luke
Andrew, like,
mastermind.
Yeah.
I'm
Andrew,
getting Andrew
sorry, like,
out.
I didn't.
No,
I
like
just
you should have been bitter at me. I even though I wasn't gonna vote for you until like last second, Dave was like, "Hey, people are voting for Andrew." I was like,
Why did that get blamed on Luke?
Aw.
like Andrew,
Hey, man, I thought I
Yeah,
trusted
like,
you.
You can't be
Look, Andrew, I trusted you too, but like you exposed everything I was telling
Yeah,
you. So,
it was just it was
you were
too
hurting my
close in a
game.
row.
It was too much, Andrew. We had
It was too
awesome
much.
plans that we're gonna go through.
Yeah.
Like it
Well, by the
became
way,
a
that
I
vote,
wasn't trying
liability.
to blow
that
it because
vote,
pressure
you're gonna
freaking got to me and
vote
screwed me.
Will. We were gonna vote Will at that.
Oh, so it wasn't gonna be Andrew at all.
It was
No,
gonna, it was
No.
gonna
That's
be
what
you.
I'm
And then
saying, like,
Andrew,
I
and then
wasn't
Andrew started
actually
speaking
seeing
up,
Andrew.
and you started speaking up, and that's when we decided to flip it off of you and back onto Andrew.
Oh, was that the
So
one where you were gonna,
funny.
like
Because
steal
Like, I
vote?
genuinely thought it was gonna be like
votes.
like a
Final
5-4.
nine.
I also knew I knew there was no. You guys were saying we're gonna do Andrew before the vote. I knew it was not. You guys were not just gonna do Andrew. So I knew. I was,
Okay, I'm sorry. Like that, it's so.
I was gonna vote Andrew, then you.
I knew. Yeah, but I knew like
thought it was
David,
gonna
Luke,
be
and
Andrew.
Billy definitely were.
Yeah, we were gonna blindside Will.
I didn't know who they were.
That's so funny because thank you, Nick J. Never mind.
Hey, yeah.
Thank you, Nick J. That because I was like, oh, Nick J is so stupid. We had such a good plan, and then that actually saved my life. So yeah.
I know.
I was so
I had
mad
to-
at
yeah.
Nick J. I was so mad.
I know you were.
No, I legitimately, I was like, there's no way Rachel is this mad and like avidly saying like, I will vote incorrectly for Nick J. Like I was like, so she was so in on it. She was so in on it.
I was so Brady was like, you're so good. Like you like really played
I
me.
knew
And I
you
was
were
like, what are you
pumped.
talking about? Like
Yeah,
I
you
voted
were.
Nick.
And then I was like, oh, Rachel hates me now. Cause she was like,
I was
I
was
myself.
pissed off. I didn't want
Davis,
to
the
talk to
amount of
anybody.
gaslighting, gatekeeping, and girl bossing you did. Like, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
It was traumatizing.
Wait, one thing I did. So Billy called me one night and he told me he's like, I want to go to the end with Brady, like a final three. So then I called Brady and I told him I'm like, yo, I was talking to Billy and Billy said that he wants you out because he feels like you guys are playing very similar games. And then I called Billy and I said the same exact
To
thing.
do that.
Yep, and then after that
Did do that.
conversation, that's why Billy wanted to take Brady out.
Wait, Davis, okay, question. Did Hemi actually tell you he was gonna take Nick J to the end? I feel like that was a
Okay.
lie.
Trying to think. No, but what happened with
Yeah.
Hemi was I called Hemi and I was like, Hemi, look, I'm gonna be straight up with you. Right now, you're guaranteed final three. I feel like your only chance of winning the game is beating me or Nick J at the end in fire making. So his whole goal after that conversation was to take me and Nick J, try to get us to 4 so he could beat us in fire making and get the move of taking us out.
I like do understand his logic on what he was doing. I just think it would have made more sense if he targeted Davis at 6.
I think it would have made sense if he just targeted Davis at 6.
And then me.
He told me
David-
at like the 7 vote, I think, or like the 8 vote, he was like, I don't really get why people think Nick J is such a big threat. Like he hasn't really done much, just physical game. Like he didn't get it. Like I don't think he was as aware as like
Never know with Nick J.
Wait, I still don't understand the fact, Nick J, why you fucking like yelled at me at the tribal council.
Oh, I think okay.
I was like, what the
kidding.
fuck is going on?
No, Billy, I actually didn't care. I swear, I wasn't like actually upset about that. Like, I think it was a little like annoying that you didn't text me the whole day. Like, yeah.
Okay, but I did.
I was. Oh, you okay? You responded right before tribal, but I wasn't upset about it. Like, I wasn't. I was trying to get in your head. And it was the same thing I did when you told me because I heard from I think it was Rachel or Davis, one of them told me that you were throwing my name out, and then I went to you, and then you told me that like Brady said my name, so then I told you that Brady was. I mean, I didn't care who said it, but then I didn't care who said it, but I knew at that point you guys were close. So I was just like, I was trying to get in like your guys' head as much as possible, and kind of like. So I told Brady that like you were saying that, so it was just like I was trying to get in.
And no, I also wanted to say too, I was trying to cut Nick J soon. Me and Billy had a long talk, and we were like, I was planting a lot of seeds about
before
Nick J.
or after I did the
before. I was planting a lot of seeds about you. Like that was like my whole thing. And like I made all these like trio chats with like me and you, and I wanted like us to be in a similar spot, but you to be pushed above me because you also had the physical game too.
Yeah. What shocked me was when you told me that you had your idol. Like I did not think you would tell me if you had an idol. But
wait, you had an idol?
Me? I played it, yeah.
Wait,
and
yeah.
I was gonna buy another one, and then he stole 4 of my tokens, and I couldn't. I was really like, it tanks my whole thing.
Yeah, I wanted that idol to be flushed there. That was I didn't touch on that much during FTC. Like I said,
I only told you that I had it because you told me you had the tribe one.
That's what that. We did like 4 fake reactions, like
in all of our trio chats.
In all trio chats and. In that 4% chat, we did like a bunch of fake reactions.
Everybody.
My favorite part.
Yeah, Nick would text me like, "Can you join this call real quick so I can tell you about my idol in front of this person?" It was funny.
Like legit, my favorite part was like being in like a smaller group chat and then like coming up with a plan and going into another group chat and then
Oh,
coming
good.
up
Yeah,
with the
make
same
sure to get
plan
this,
for the
Isaiah. That's
second
important.
time.
Yeah, I could probably stop now.